Hello and welcome, my name is Skaterwheel and welcome to this what to expect in endgame when going for a Domination Victory video. 2 out of 4 in total. And in this particular video I will be talking to you about a domination type victory in endgame. And as you might have already recognized, this is based off of the game that I use for a technological victory type. And that's because this is a very excellent example of what happens when you do not do it right. Just to make sure, when you do it right, you can take cities in a fair amount of time and nothing really bad happens. So this is what happens when you do it the wrong way. So first of all, there's a few things that you need to be aware of. The best time to go for a domination type victory is when you have a technological advantage. Without it, your troops will not be strong enough to easily overtake any and all other troops and civilizations. So without them, you can still do it. It will just be a lot harder. Also, there is the thing of amenities that you need to worry about. We've seen in a technological victory that amenity shortage issues will arise as well, but in the domination type victory this will be a major issue, because if you do not address them quickly and early on in the game, they will rebel against you and basically turn into an army of about 4 or 5 units occupying one of your cities, which you can then not use for production, and you'd have to retake your own city. And when you're fighting a battle at the front line, that's not what you want. So that's something that you need to be aware of, so make sure you build theater districts and buildings inside them. Also, you'll need encampment districts, and encampment districts are just basically the military district that you can build. It also creates production and housing, so there's actually a multitude of functions there that you can use for your domination victory. So one other thing that you need to be aware of is policies and governments, as you will be able to see right here. Governments change over time, you can unlock more. But for example, when you're going with communism, you gain 4 defense strength extra for land units. Patronage costs less for patronage of great people. That is, costs less for it costs less gold in democracy. And in fascism, all combat units gain +4 combat strength. So when you're going with a domination victory and you want to be sure that you'll be able to get it, you need to go with fascism. It's basically that's what you're going to need. It also has a lot of different military cards that you can use. So when it comes to policies, there's a couple of options that you have. You can reduce cost of your units in maintenance by 2 per unit per turn. Also, you can increase combat for fighting against civilizations but a different religion, which is a fair chance that will happen. Make sure you get enough extra culture from your theater, square, districts, buildings, and try to gain some extra gold, because you need to be able to get the upkeep going and buy any emergency units where necessary. If you have a lot of envoys, I can recommend taking +1 gold from each of your envoys at city-states. In my case, it gave me over 40 gold per turn, so that's quite a lot, actually. Also, I've gone with great artist points per turn. You can also go with great general points. I'll leave that bit to you, what you prefer. In this case, I had a very low culture amount of culture each turn, so I went with great artist points, and that way I was able to get some more great artists. Also, I've chosen a wildcard policy with +30% production toward encampment districts and buildings for that district, which will become available not very early in the game, but early enough. So I can definitely recommend using that at any given time. So my advice first is to actually get your domination victory going when you're technologically advanced, and I would suggest as soon as you get the musketmen to actually get going, because from that point on, you have a certain advantage, and even if they are just 1 era behind you, you have a certain advantage you can use to actually pulverize your enemy. So first of all, when it comes to units, there's a thing that you need to be aware of, and that is that you can make core, CORPS, core. So basically, when you have 2 units of the same type, you have them stand next to each other, you will see a button here with 2 stars, and it says unite into a core. And I've done that with a rocket artillery unit right here, with a helicopter units right there, and with a set of tanks modern armor right there. So the difference about these core is that they do a lot more damage than two select units, but they will have the same amount of health. So you need to watch their health bar, because if you lose them, you lose 2 units, frankly. So that's something to really watch out for. That's what you want to avoid, because when you're hiding ward, you want to make sure you preserve as many units as you can. So next thing on our topic tonight is basically nukes. Well, I'm not Gandhi, I'm not nuke happy, but I'm gonna show you some nukes anyway. As you can see, I'm building one right there. It's a thermonuclear device, 3 turns. Basically what it comes down to, you need to make sure you have some extra firepower, large firepower, in the back of your hand. So for example, in the next few turns I'm going to attack Vilnius right here. It was city-state, I want to liberate it in order to get some more bonuses with my trades. So when you attack, you want to have a strong weapon in the hand, because should they try to attack you on a different level, on a different side of the map, which is very possible here, because me and the Congo is we have a large border. You can actually nuke their city, and they will usually draw back. So that's something to actually use. On account of launching them, I will get back to that in a couple of turns, because that actually provides another set of explanations in comparison to the previous Civilization games. So what you do need to do is, no matter where you're gonna fight, how long, or what kind of front line you have, like a large or a small one, you need to have some kind of defense in your cities. So make sure you build walls and keep upgrading them. But it can never hurt to actually build machine guns. You don't have to actually have a core of machine guns, just get some machine guns. It will allow your city to defend itself twice. One with the machine guns, one with the city defense itself. And it will also allow, will not allow enemy units to easily take your city. So it will actually provide more resistance. And that last particular bit is very important, because if they counter attack you and they manage to take a city, you're gonna have to turn back, because if you manage to take a city and they take one behind you, you will be surrounded, and that's something that you really, really want to avoid. That can actually hurt you a lot in this particular game of Civilization. So there's also another way to acquire city and territory other than a domination style of playing, and that is through diplomacy. And I've waited with going for turns because I wanted to show you. As you can see, I have a couple of units here. Nothing very special, as you can tell. But basically what it comes down to is this was an Aztec city, and at some point they were bugging the hell out of me. So I sent a nuclear submarine here and I launched a nuke at Tenochtitlan, and as you can see, it has no health, it has no fortifications or garrison defense. It's gone. I mean, I literally put a nuclear warhead on it and it's gone. So I was at war with them, and I was taking out England and Japan. As you can see, I've taken London, I've taken Kyoto. And the Aztecs were here, and I was already at war with them, so I figured, I'd just take the one city that they have on this continent and be done with them for right now. And as I was approaching the city and destroying like 6 or 7 units in just 2 turns, he figured, yeah, I'm in trouble. So he tried to make peace with an offer that was actually not too shabby. He offered me a lot of culture type items and wonders, that kind of thing. But I ignored it. I sent my own peace treaty, and I told him to give me the city in exchange for peace, and he gave it to me. So in this case, I managed to take a city without actually having to destroy and later on repair it, and with even if it were a small possibility, lose my units. I mean, you see he has a mechanized infantry here, but it literally did barely any damage whatsoever to my units. Most of this damage is because he had like 6 or 7 units out here, so that's basically it. So, returning to the game at hand, I'm going to set for next turn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to attack Vilnius right here, and I'm going to take it back. And when you take a city, you can either keep the city, you can raise the city to the ground, or when it comes to a city-state or the capital of an older civilization that has been actually completely wiped out, you can choose to liberate it to the original owners. And we're going to do the latter thing with Vilnius. We're going to liberate it, so it becomes a city-state once again. Will be pals. Some of my war crimes will be forgiven, and also when I send a trader, I will get more bonuses and be able to get a suzerain status with more bonuses. So there's one other thing. When you're playing a domination type victory, you're gonna kill a lot of barbarian units and capture a lot of them as well as other civilizations units. And you will be able to get a lot of cities quickly. As you can see, I have Manchester that was built. It only has 2 population, but I just recently founded Nanjing, and also in the north Zhejiang and Shanghai, and I've managed these 2 smaller cities. It's not a bad thing. It can actually help you a lot, but just beware that at some point you're gonna have a lot of leftover settlers that you will not be using, and I just decided to kill them. I just killed them off. I wasn't going to use them, and they were just taking up space. So I was fine with it. So if you have a lot of settlers early in the beginning, that's a good thing. Just go ahead and expand your empire. That's never a bad thing. But just make sure that you keep an eye on any and all units that you have left unguarded, because they can be taken and converted to a different civilization. As you can see, the amount of amenities and housing is actually climbing, and I need more of them, of both. But I'm actually leaving it like this, as if I'm not mistaken. Kyoto should turn into a riot in just a couple of turns. So I've waited with attacking the Congo until my thermonuclear warhead was completed. So right now I'm going with attack. I'm not going to actually talk about what to attack with what, because basically that's combat mechanics. It has a large set of explanations in the game, so I'm not just going to do that. There's different types of war penalties though when you declare war, and sometimes you will have a case belli, which will lower the penalty. But if you just start a move just like that, it will give you more penalties. These kind of penalties, in my personal experience, I have not felt them yet. I haven't actually noticed anything, but that's just me. That's just one guy's experience, and I will be honest with you, I do not play a lot of domination type victories. So if you manage to experience something and you want to let me know, please do leave a comment below, and I will make sure to keep that in mind. So for now, we are going to declare war, and there we go. They will correct it. We have strayed from God's path. There we go. So let's move our units in. Now, I'm going to use my jet to attack the most far away settled crossbowmen, because they're annoying. So, and they can attack from range. So, as you can see, he has a core of crossbowmen in his city. So that's something that needs to be destroyed. So basically, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just roll on in. There we go. They're all scouts anyway, so that's not a big issue there. I'm going to pass this, because that is a great scientist, and we're already at the end of the great scientists. So as you can see, a spy got in here, and even though I have 2 counter spies, he still managed to destroy it. You're never completely safe. So I'm just gonna have to repair that. You definitely need spies when going with a domination type victory, because they will be trying to screw you over any way they can. So just make sure you keep that in mind. Also, I should mention that this is still playing against at least 20 different civilizations that are still in the game at this time, and this is a lot harder than playing just 3 or 4 civilizations. So whatever you see here, this is a lot harder and will take a lot more time, even though I only have a short front line right here. I mean, this is the entire border, and this is basically a front line, but I'm actually fighting just this particular bit. I want to liberate Vilnius, and from that point on I want to make peace with the Congo, get more units set up. As you can see, it's defending itself. I already forgot the artillery, so that's actually... that was not my best idea ever. But that's quite alright, because they're dead. They got launched missiles in their faces. So, the world map is rather large. You can see all kinds of different civilizations. Romans are all over the place. It's France, Zanzibar city-state. There we go. We're up. So we moved the rocket artillery, which is very important because as soon as we are able to actually... Oh, we can't launch an attack just now? Oh, that's a shame. As soon as we are able to bombard the city, things will go a lot more our way. So let's just air attack the city. So as you can see, I'm being thrown around the map for different kinds of orders for all kinds of units. That is something that you're just gonna have to deal with. Do make sure that when you go to war with another civilization that you defend your cities. Like this. I mean, there's a couple of units coming in, so, you know, I gotta keep an eye on that. So you can see I'm not doing a lot of damage. There's only barely any defense strength gone and just a bit of health. But as soon as that rocket artillery core is into position and it can fire, it will do a lot of damage. It will take away a lot of the pain that you're taking on your units. Be prepared to lose at least 1 unit per city, which is realistic. Particularly when they're not too far behind you. I mean, I'm a luck here. I mean, I'm definitely ages ahead of them. But when they do have similar units, you will lose units on a more regular basis. And by that I mean like a few per turn easily, at least.
Even though the future seems far away, it is actually big.
There we go. So what we're going to do is we're going to always make sure that you hit the artillery first. It just takes away most of the things that you have to do. It saves you a lot of time. It saves you a lot of units. And can we take the city? No, not just yet. But we are very close though. There we go. You may want to avoid attacking city-states, especially when you're suzerain of them, because they still give you all different kinds of bonuses. So just try to not to attack the ones that are actually a benefit to you. So you can see there's a lot happening. We've got a lot of reports right here. You can just have a look at them. Basically, I ignore them. If anything of import happens, you usually get like a notification on the right. So, you know, that's something to keep in mind. I actually can't wait for this turn to just continue so we can actually take the city this time. Alright, there we go. So let's hit it. As you can see, I've not been truly watching my own territory, and the enemy has managed to enter it. So I'm just attacking. Encampment districts have the possibility to attack as well. So if you have a defense in there, you can attack twice with your city. or at least from your city's tile, and once with the encampment district. So right now I can attack here as well, which I'm actually going to do. Just want to keep them off of me. Okay, now here comes the question. Do you want to keep the city, raise it, or liberate it? I'm going to liberate it. There we go. This will actually divide a bit of the border. But I actually need to leave my units there, so that's not an issue at all, and that's great. So just be aware that even if you only go for war to liberate a city-state or civilization, it's not gonna end too easily for you. I mean, basically what it comes down to is that you need to well, you basically are still at war with the other civilizations you took the city from. So I can't just easily make peace now. I actually have to put a lot of effort into it if I want to. There's just one other thing, and I missed that earlier. In your civics and policies trees, you will be able to get military cards, and they will give you a lot of different bonuses or reasons to declare war, which can decrease the war penalty that the penalty you get for declaring war on whatever your enemies are. And that's a good thing, especially when you're going for a domination type victory. So basic mechanics that you need to keep in mind are that you need to make sure that you have a distinct technological advantage. Make sure you have built enough amenities in your theater district, and make sure to build an encampment district as well. And make sure your policies are up to order, because they will make a huge difference. So that's one more thing that I was supposed to show you, and I suggest we just get to it. I've actually built a jet bomber for this. So as you can see, when you have a nuke, you have to be able to launch it, and in Civilization 5 you had the possibility to launch it from your city, and that is no longer the case. It actually now is such a way that you either need a jet bomber, a nuclear submarine, or a missile cruiser to fire one. That also means that if you have a missile cruiser in your port, that the city in question, if within one tile range, will not be able to be attacked by nukes, because your missile cruiser will destroy them. So right now we want to attack a city, and he has a couple of them that are quite large. I'm thinking this is his capital, but I want to destroy the big one. So this is a huge attack. This is a thermonuclear warhead. This is a new scale of destruction. So I'm actually not going for this, because I will be damaging my ally Geneva, and I do not want that. And I can actually drop it right here, and it should not affect my area. So what we're going to do is we're going to throw a WMD strike. As you can see, a jet bomber has a huge range. It is unbelievable. You can even throw them on your own city if you want to. So right now what we're going for is the Mabanza Congo, and we will proceed. Flying Fortress, motherfucker. Oh, shame, it did not show the actual... That's because we were not really within range, but it shows a giant mushroom cloud, and everything within 2 or 3 tile range, you can see here, has been destroyed and is radioactive. I cannot put in there any units or they will die from radioactivity. So it's a shame we couldn't see it, but trust me, the blast is definitely worthwhile, the research and the production time. So right now we've talked about different kind of things for domination type victory. This is what happens when you do things the wrong way. You will have chaos, you will have production issues, you will have theater districts building all over with production issues. And even though my science is up like crazy, it's not very much of value to me, since I've already researched all possible technologies. So be sure to keep that in mind and try and balance it a bit. There will be times that you may have less technology and more domination power in forms of military, but that is quite alright. I mean, there is no possible best possible way to actually do this, and it all depends on what other civs you have, the area that you're in, and your resources, and also what they decide to do. So there's one more thing, and I'm going to try to see if I can force to let that happen. Is basically when you do not take enough time to build amenities in your cities and housing, is that you will get a riot. I mentioned this earlier. I'm going to see that if I'm correct, it should happen next turn. I'll be honest with you guys, I took the liberty of going ahead and reloading the game, and I know there's going to be a riot in Kyoto, and if I'm not mistaken, it should be this particular next turn. So let's see if that happens. Okay. Well, as you can see, since I knew that things was happening, I was starting to build a district. This might have given me a few turns, but it won't be more than just a few turns. So that's something for me to actually watch out for, because that's going to bite me in the ass later. So thank you for watching. I'm hoping that this video will be of use to you. And if you have any questions or comments, please do post them below. Furthermore, do not forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel. And sharing is caring. Thank you very much for your time, and have a good one, guys.